Hello everybody, so I finally came up with a Xenoblade video. It's been a while, and I want to talk about something. So I just beat Future Redeem a while back, and I had a great time to be honest. Upon the fandom taking on the difficult challenge of Anta's identity, they found their new target, which is who is Mythras' child actually. Xenoblade 3 at this point made it clear, Glimmer is Pyra's daughter, and while not as guaranteed but it's still pretty close, Mio is Nia's daughter, right? These two seem to be generally accepted by the fandom and really by just in general by everybody. It seems like this is just the case. This is just what happened. So the conclusion that the fandom came up with is that Dirk, Mobius D, is actually Mythras' son. You know, I'll be a bit fair. I may give some ideas on what it will take for this to sort of make sense. Anyway, let's get to it. So the reason why the fandom came to the conclusion must have been a strong one, right? They discovered something really key. You know, powers, the fighting style, the abilities, the person. No, it's the fucking hair. So yeah, the source of this entire theory comes nearly entirely from the fact that Dirk and Mythra are blonde. Or maybe they just want to piss off Mythra fans, right? That really sounds like the more logical conclusion. Now, to be fair, it's not just the hair color. There are some that are somewhat reasonable. Although it doesn't really get any better from this theory, like entirely. Let's start with the appearance similarities. Outside of the blonde hair, the other is that Dirk also shares the same ear shape and facial hair as Rex. Damn, I really hope there isn't another character with the same ear shape. And I especially hope he isn't from Kevis. And the facial hair, I mean, yeah, that's an incredibly unique trait to Rex, right? Like, there's no other characters that could have facial hair, right? I mean, he literally just shaved it, so you can't even tell. To be honest, he looks more like Lance, Mark, I forgot their name, of their terms, whatever. You know which one I'm talking about, the one of their years. But let's just continue. Hey, can we talk about how he doesn't even have like a similar haircut to Rex? Like, he's not even blonde Rex or like gray hair Mythra or anything like that, right? He's actually similar to Mikhail and Minoth, who are not close to either parent at all. So it's not even like they gave them that haircut to honor them. No. If it was similar to Van Damme's, then you will have a point there, because, you know, Van Damme was sort of like, I guess, like a father figure to Rex. So, you know, it will kind of make sense. But these two characters are just a bit too irrelevant for the possible parents to that be the case. So let's continue. Also, there are people who believe Alexandria is Mythras' daughter, which also doesn't really make sense. But one argument I saw against the Alexandria theory is that Dirk actually has hazel eyes like Pyra and Rex, unlike Alex who has green eyes. Here's a little advice, right? You should probably look at the official art as reference instead of the in-game cutscenes, which tend to have a lot of filters that could mess that up, right? Because Dirk's eyes are not hazel, they're actually red. So yeah, I'll suggest you that you should probably just look at the official art. It would probably be a better source of comparison. And then you have this attack that is shooting projectiles in every direction. You know, this attack of Siren and Mobius DJ. Okay, do you realize that having an attack that shoots projectiles at every direction is just kind of an effective move, right? It hits multiple enemies, it covers a wide area. Like, it just makes sense for a move like that to be similar from a similar angle, right? Which is an attack that looks like a rain-on attack. Like, for example, if your hat were to float and use her gun drones, I'm pretty sure it will look similar. Same with Jin, if he will do his attack where he throws the ice shards at people. If he were to float in the air and he were to throw it at multiple directions, I'm pretty sure it will be similar, right? Like, it's just natural for a move that behaves in a similar way and that it's used in a similar fashion to look similar. Like come on, it doesn't really mean a lot at all. Really, it's just a matter that they are like giants that can go up in the air really high and can use it. Nothing to do with, like, you know, parent similarities. Now, if Dirk had powers or attacks like the element of light, will use swords, had attacks like rolling smash, that will actually be a true indication, because those are things that will be inherited from his parents. And Monolith really isn't subtle about these things. I mean, Glimmer has the element of fire. Mio has the same type of weapons as Nia. I mean, she doesn't have the element of water because, you know, elements are sort of gone in Xenoblade 3. But although she does have that scene that makes it clear that she loves water, but, you know, she has the same weapons. And Malice has Monado arts to refer, you know, like, yeah, this thing and the Monado are related. When there is a connection, Monolith doesn't shy away from it at all, right? I mean, just think about it. What they gave him were Mooncar weapons. Similar horns in Siren and Mobius DJ. Okay, first of all, this is Mobius DJ. Those horns can only be obtained if he interlinks. So that means they are linked to Mr. Society. Even ignoring that, I think this is just to remain consistent with the base form, right? If you compare his base form horns with Siren, they aren't really that similar. Also, they only look that similar in that image because of the angle. Actually, they cover more space, right? It's more like kind of like a triangle, while Siren horns are as sort of a line. I don't know if you understand, right? They're more thin, while Mobius DJ, because remember it's an interlink, they're wider. So yeah, the name meaning is not an entirely bad theory. I'm not gonna say that it's horrible, but it only really checks out with Pyre and Glimmer, right? And remember, this is with their Japanese names. It does check out there, right? They both mean something like blaze and fire, right? But it doesn't really check out with Mio and Nia, like, at all. Let me just check with it just doesn't. Like, look at it. It doesn't check out. I think the mini names is usually just a coincidence, right? Because it's just a coincidence. Like, I don't really think it means anything. Remember, Dirk is sort of a tyrant, right? Like, he's, is pretty much in charge of the armies because he's a consul. However, Rex isn't really the king of anything. Now, I think this is the main reason why many people want him to be the child of Mythra, outside of pissing off Mythra fans, is because he doesn't really have much going for him other than being a great value Mooncar. I don't believe this really means anything. Sometimes this is just a sign that the character is not important if you don't have an origin story, right? It's not really something that indicates much all the time. Some characters are just not important enough to have a very detailed story. Besides, if he truly was the son of the Ages, I'm pretty sure he would be one of the few characters to actually have memories before the cycle, before the collision, and that's just not the case. Now, this is probably the best point that I see in this image. There's other points in other image, but I'm not going to cover them because they just feel like huge stretch. They don't actually feel like they're really that interesting. And it's the fact that the reveal of his face just has no impact due to him just being certainly no one to the player and to the cast in general. It's certainly something that smells like a change during development. This I definitely do believe that this was probably a change. Something happened during development that made this, because there's just no reason for them to make this epic of this guy taking off his mask and him being no one, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And so yeah, some people believe that this was because it could potentially spoil the ending or something like that. That he was probably going to show that he was indeed Mew's brother, but I don't think so. That could just mean that he was meant to appear in a flashback with Mio, not as a brother, but just as another soldier. Maybe he was a little bit older. Maybe that flashback where he kills the entire colony. Maybe Mio was in that colony and she survived or something, right? And maybe she remembered him or something like that and hated him, right? And maybe they scrapped that in favor of all the uni stuff, right? Because it wouldn't actually make sense that he killed a uni in the past if he was an Agnian soldier and then became Mobius. Like, it wouldn't make sense, right? So maybe there was like they had to like just give in one. So you know what, we're not gonna do this. That could all be what it means, right? You have a cut design. It could mean many things. It could mean what you need, but it could also mean something entirely different. So let's just summarize it. Why this is just not possible. There cannot be Mythra's son because he doesn't actually look like any of them at all. He doesn't actually look at Mythra or Rex in any way at all. He does not have anything in the way of personality that will remind us of them either, right? It's not like he's the opposite of Mythra or the opposite of Rex, nothing. His fighting style and powers are too much of a diversion from both characters. Like I said, he doesn't have the element of light, he does not fight with swords, nothing. He doesn't even have the moves, like he doesn't have rolling smash but like with claws or something like that. He doesn't have lightning buster, nothing like that. The character fighting style, everything is just too much of a diversion, which is inconsistent with the other two children. And the character in general is just too shallow for the role of the son of the Aegis and the savior of all rest. I mean, I'm not gonna say that he will have like a massive, role, because Glimmer and Nicole didn't really have a huge role. But, also the fact that it was pretty obvious that they were in fact the children of those characters. But if they were gonna keep it a secret and he was gonna be the villain, then they will definitely make it more interesting. They will give us more information. Like the moment he got access to the information, it would have meant something. And he would have had something with Neo anyways. Like he would have been like, I want to kill my sister or something. I don't know. The character is already making references to different characters. His hairstyle is not like neither Rex or Mythras. It's like Mikkel and Minos. His fighting style is like Mumkar's. So the character already has his reference. He already has sort of its inspiration that it draws from. Like he already has where it comes from. So it wouldn't really make sense that you will just make it randomly the son of Mythras and Rex and just draw inspiration from entirely different characters. It just doesn't really make sense at all. So yeah, that's gonna be it. It's gonna be a short video, thankfully. Just gonna try to do short videos in the meantime. I don't really have the means to do long videos as it is now, but I'll see how can I get it fixed. Alright, see you guys later.